our goal again is to make connections between people and the natural environment. Butterflies are such a wonderful example of a much larger issue, which is the importance of all the aspects of the environment. They're so fragile and so beautiful, but I just learned a week ago. We were at a board retreat, and there was a question of how butterflies function. And Ted Stiles explained to me that one of the amazing things about butterflies and how they're related to the evolution of the natural system, that a butterfly actually has a long proboscis that jumps out and sometimes curls out of its mouth, and it can alight on a flower that has many small, multifaceted flowers, like Queen Anne's lace, where you see the flowers on the tree, where there's lots of tiny little flowers. Where if it was a bee trying to fertilize that flower, it wouldn't necessarily do so because it would have to flip from one little one to the next. A butterfly can alight in one place in which its very large proboscis starts fertilizing all of the little aspects of that very intricate flower. And it was fascinating. I didn't know that. And all of a sudden, my perspective on nature will be changed forever. I now know that every time you see those intricate, smaller flowers, it's intimately and directly related to the life of a butterfly. And the one and the other relies on each, and it's part of the little bit of symphony of the nature that we all so admire. And that would be a great story to tell here in a way that people are open to in our house here. If you come early in the morning or late in the day when there may visit a program and you go in there and sit, I guarantee you will feel the connection and the spark of which I speak. You will feel Kate's presence. You will feel God in whatever form that it makes a message to you. I certainly do. And I'm tremendously honored and privileged that we can be a part of it and have this memorial here.
It is wonderful to see so many of our friends here on this very special day. Today we dedicate the Kate Gorey Butterfly House. From George's remarks, you can understand why the watershed and the people who work in its environs and support it have become an important part of the Gorey family's lives. Many of you knew Kate well. There are some who didn't have the opportunity to know her. She was sunshine. She brought people together through her smile. Her enthusiasm, her passion for life, and her loyalty and dedication to friends and family touched many deeply in her short life. Kate had two dreams to do with the watershed. Her first desire was to become a summer intern as the first step towards her goal of becoming an environmental education major. Unfortunately, the dream was not to be realized. Her second dream came about because Jeff Hoagland, our education director, had taken a sabbatical and during that time had visited a butterfly house in the Adirondacks and learned one was to be built at the Schuylkill Center in Philadelphia. Jeff spoke with great enthusiasm to the watershed staff and to the board about the wonderful teaching tool. The staff and board were equally enthused. However, funding was an issue. Meg told Kate, and Kate, in her Kate-ness, was ready to begin fundraising the next day. This became Kate's second dream. Because of the numerous and generous donations to the watershed in Kate's memory, enough money has been generated to fund both of these dreams. This beautiful, life-affirming house will allow the young and old and all in between to share in Kate's love for the beauty of the world. We are sure that in her own special way, Kate is smiling today because of your being here and keeping her memory alive through the internship and the Butterfly House. There are now more wings in our family. Thank you for your continued support. We could not have come this far without you, and thank you for supporting the watershed. We love you.
I think George talked a little bit about magic. The butterflies really represent magic in a number of ways. If you watch butterflies, they start off as this tiny egg and they hatch into a caterpillar which grows and grows and they metamorph into a chrysalid and ultimately a butterfly. And I always feel that our job as environmental educators is to help people try to describe that process to them. Never once do we not admit that it's just science. We are the first to admit that it is magic. We want them to understand how that process takes place, but it is truly magic. What is also magic is the role that the butterflies play in our ecosystems. Unfortunately, they may be, like so many other aspects of the natural world, sort of the canaries in the coal mine. as our butterfly populations slip away, it may reveal something about our environment. But as we step inside, you'll see that a whole range of flowers, including blueberries, which are going to be pollinated by the butterflies, so that the plants themselves can then carry on their life cycle and produce seeds and produce new plants for the next generation.